Native Hawaiians are undergoing somewhat of a renaissance. Their traditional way of life, lost over time, is now being rediscovered. For 21 years, an organization in Lahaina, on the island of Maui, has been teaching the ancient art of building seaworthy double-hulled sailing canoes, or va'a. Keola Sakara is the project director of Hui o Va'a Ka'alua.
The Hui started about 21 years ago with the building of the mo'olele, which is basically a 42.5-foot double-hull canoe. Mo'olele is sort of a replica of the type of canoes that sailed at Cook's Contact. When the canoes are actually built here, if you know what you're doing, you'll find out that right off the bat that the canoe has a spirit within itself. It's not a vehicle. It is like, for us, we treat it as a living, breathing entity. There are ancient spirits that are still with us today that guide us through the project. And you can call them Kupulupulu, the male side of canoe makers, Lea, the female side. We teach everybody to work in mind, body, and spirit. So there's the three, not just mind and body, where most people are working today. And we're very touchy about how we go about doing our business about the canoe. We don't even allow harsh words being spoken here in this building site. That's how strict we are about it. Hawaiians believe in a concept of mana, where they call it like spiritual force. The spiritual force is incorporated into the canoe. It also comes from the builders, the kalaiva'a, the builders of the canoe. And so what, if you carry bad spirit, bad mana, bad feelings, and that gets transferred into the canoe. And that you don't need when you're out in the ocean. So we're very strict about how we put good spirit, good feelings into the canoe. The hull itself, like the keel, is called the kuamo, and it refers to the backbone of the mole, the backbone of the lizard. The hull of the canoe becomes the mole spirit, or the mole's body. Okay? Two things incorporated fore and aft into that. One, the aft side of the canoe is always pointed. That becomes the tail of the lizard. And the forward part, the blunt part, which people are forgetting to put on Hawaiian canoes today, is actually the head of the mole. Because as it lays on his back, his head comes up, and there's a flat section. If you look at a lizard, that is his head. And if you go to the front of the canoe, you're going to see this. All of these little things are incorporated into the canoe. Like the yakus or the crossbooms, they took a tree, maybe 2 inches in diameter, they curved it and watched it grow over 10, 15, 20 years before it came to sufficient size. The ends, the four corners of the canoe, and the bow and the stern, these are called manu. Manu means bird. It's birds that help in navigation. So these points, if you line them up and they're connected to the seabirds, then they'll guide you back to land or to wherever you're going to. Basically, the canoe is for exploring the routes that our ancestors took, feeling what they did in those days. It's like a floating classroom, one where you're going to be finding yourself again, finding out who you are. You know, it's an educational canoe or ship. It's not for charter. It's not for taking tourists out. In fact, only club members are allowed on the canoe.